How often should men over the age of 50 train? Now, if that's what you typed into YouTube, then you've come to the right place. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of men over the age of 40 and 50 are asking the same questions, but most of the answers online are either too extreme, they're too complicated, or they're trying to turn you into something that you're not. And listen, the reason why that I make a lot of content like this these days is because I'm genuinely trying to answer the question that a lot of men over the ages of 40 and 50s are asking. Now, in one of my previous videos, I recently talked about why building muscle after the age of 50 feels harder. And naturally, the next question is, okay, well, how often should I train after the age of 50? Because it's no longer about just working hard now. It's about working in a way that your body can actually respond to. So in this video, you're going to understand why training too hard can actually backfire after the age of 50. You're also going to understand what training frequency actually works and how to structure your week in a way that actually builds muscle instead of breaking you down. So first things first, frequency matters more than intensity now. So that means after the age of 50, how often you train matters more than how intense your workouts are. And I want to be very clear here, like this doesn't mean that you can't have a tough session. This doesn't mean that you can't push yourself anymore or you have to be weak. This is not because your body has become fragile. Like I've always said in all of my other previous videos, recovery becomes the deciding factor. Your body doesn't change during the workout, it changes after. So if your sessions are too close together, nothing really happens. But when they're spaced out properly, then you might see better progress. And that brings me into why training too often sometimes can backfire. When you're young, you can get away with a lot. You could eat whatever you want. You can train again before you fully recover from the last workout. And at that age, your body could still be able to keep up. But after the age of 50, that kind of slows down. Now, if you train again before your body has finished responding to the previous session, you can basically interrupt that process. So the signal gets cut short, your recovery gets disrupted, and your progress can stall. This is why training 5 to 6 days a week might feel productive, but over time, it can drain you and it can wear you down. Because basically what you're doing is you're just stacking effort on top of unfinished recovery. And that's not discipline, that's interference. Then we come to the big misunderstanding. Your timing matters more than frequency alone. Because if you train again too soon, your strength doesn't build, your joints start to feel it, and your energy levels drop significantly. So it's not that you're doing too little, you're just not letting the work finish. And then that brings me to what the ideal training frequency is or should be. So for most men over the age of 50, 2 to 3 training sessions, or maybe even 4, depending on who you are and what your training schedule is, that works perfectly. So not every day, not 6 times a week, not whenever you feel motivated, just 2 to 3 or 4 structured workout sessions a week. This number of days gives your body enough time to respond. It also gives your body enough time to recover, and it gives your body time enough to come back stronger. And that's typically what you want. So why is less more at this stage? Now, your muscles might be able to recover fairly quickly, but your joints, your connective tissues, those things, they take longer. So when you train too often, you're not speeding things up, you're slowing everything down. And that is where a lot of men, they start to feel stiffness, they start to feel irritation, and they start to feel fatigue. And then they think, oh, maybe it's because I'm getting older. And no, you're just not recovering properly. So how do you know that you're training too often? Now, I want to make this practical. So here are some signs that you might be overtraining. Number 1, your strength feels flat from session to session. Number 2, you feel tired before you even start your workout. Also, your joints feel irritated instead of them feeling warmed up and prepared. And then soreness lasts a bit longer than expected. So these are not just signs of aging, these are signs of interrupted recovery. So you want to have a simple framework, which is the 48 to 72 hour rule. So after a proper training session, you want to give your body at least 48 hours before you train again. Now, during this 48-hour rest, you don't have to pick up heavy weights, but you can do some light training. So you can walk, you can go running for 25 to 30 minutes. Let your body rest and recover properly before you hit weights again. Sometimes even 72 hours, depending on how you're feeling after your previous session. So if you trained on Monday, your next session can be on Wednesday. So just having that spacing alone can fix more problem that a lot of people realize. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that after the age of 50, your body becomes a lot more selective. It does not respond to everything anymore. So when you train too often, you're not giving it a clear signal. But when you train and then allow for recovery, that signal becomes a lot stronger and your body actually responds. So a quick recap. After 50, it's not about doing more, it's about doing what works. And for most men in this age range, that just means having 2 to 3 structured training sessions a week, giving your body proper recovery between those sessions, and focusing on quality workouts, quality training over quantity. So yeah, so far in my over the age of 40, 50 series, I've covered training, I've covered why building muscle over this age feels harder, also why your body stops forgiving mistakes, and now how often you should train. And in my next video, or the next one after the next one, don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna try and cover how heavy you should actually be lifting over the age of 40 or 50. Because once your frequency is right, then your load is what's going to determine your results. And that's it for my video. Let me know your thoughts down below in my comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm going to see you in my next video. But before I go, I just want to apologize because I posted a video recently where I made a mistake on the title. So that video was actually supposed to be 5 muscle groups that men find attractive in women, but I eventually corrected that. So my bad. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next one.